Hi Flosstube! Today is Saturday, March 16th, 2024. I am Audrey Marine, that is M-Y-R-E-H-N, and this is my 16th episode of Flosstube. I have so many new subscribers that I have picked up over the last few weeks, and I have to say a special thank you to Brenda and Laura for very emphatically sending a bunch of people my way again, so thank you so much. I want to say another thank you as well to Kim Goldman. She mentioned me on her joint video that she did a few weeks back with her friends Amy, who's Mrs. Flossie, and Diane, the woodpecker's daughter, and she also mentioned me on her own most recent video talking about a stitch along that we're going to be doing together, and I'll get to that later in the video. And I want to say thank you as well to Ashley of Little Patience Cross Stitch here on Flosstube. She mentioned me on a recent video. Thank you so much. And I also want to say another thank you to Laurent of Les Croix Mousquetaires. I will put his information here in the drop down so you can find him. If you have no idea how to spell that, that's okay. I'll put his information there so you can find him if you're interested in Flosstube en français. And it is because of him and I think our back and forth exchanges that I have some viewers now who speak French. So, je veux dire bienvenue à ma chaîne et merci. So, because I have so many new subscribers, new people checking out my videos, I have, especially over the last few days, but over the last couple weeks certainly, I've been thinking about how I want to move forward with my channel and what I can do better, what I don't need to do. How much time do I really want to be investing in this? What should I be showing you guys? What do you want from me? I don't always know. I like it when I get comments. Most of them are positive, right? They're great comments. I like this, I like that. I've gotten a few, you could do this better, or why don't you do this or this? But then I also get like just dislikes. And I'm like, well, I don't know what you want from me if you just dislike it. I need some more feedback. But I've tried to figure out what I could do better. And I've actually taken some notes today. I have thought that that is something that does help me get through these videos. I should be taking notes. Even when I don't take notes, I think the videos turn out fine, but it does help me probably organize things better throughout the video. So I have some things that I want to talk about here initially, and then I'll get to stitchy goodness. And at the end, I actually have my market purchases, all except one didn't come. And so I'll get to that, show you a little bit of other haul that I have. So please bear with me here, but I want to get through all this. I have notes. So that was one thing. That was a comment. I say a lot. And I guess I'll just address that here since it's come up. This is informal. This is casual. I'm talking, I'm not reading from a script. There will be ums and uhs and anyways and other filler words. We all do it. It's just something that comes with a monologue, an off-the-cuff monologue. So there will be some of that in there. I'm not going to be perfect, and I don't intend to be. I don't need to. When I started these videos, it was really just for me. I had one finish that I was really proud of. It was a baby sampler. And I ended up doing another baby sampler. It was a Just Nan baby sampler, and I ended up doing another one for another set of friends. And I'm still so proud of those pieces. I wish I had framed them with a professional framer rather than at Michael's, but that's a whole other thing. So I really just wanted to talk about those pieces, and I wanted to talk about some other stitching things that I liked, and I was basically just figuring out, do I even want to do this? Do I want to make videos? Do I want to talk about this? And here we are almost a year later, and I'm continuing to do it. So thank you to all the people who watch these videos. I love Flosstube, and I consume so much of it. Sometimes I sit back and I'm like, really? I have more subscribers, more people want to listen to me talk. But I'm sure there are other Flosstubers out there who have the same thoughts, like, really, people want to listen to me? But we love it, right? We consume it. And for those people who have found my channel and decided it's not for them, that's okay, because I know that I have looked around. I've watched a lot of Flosstube, and I don't continue to watch every single channel, right? Not everyone is for everyone, and that's okay. So I hope if you're here, it's because you have found in my previous videos something that you're really excited about, or you like something about me and you think I'm fun or funny to watch, whatever it may be. I'm just glad that you're here. I mean, my little number of subscribers keeps going up. I feel like I'm doing something okay. I like what I stitch. I like what I share with you guys. It's nice if you like it too. So let's see. I thought I should reintroduce myself because I know there are some people, new subscribers, new viewers, who will go back and watch the first one. Christine, why did you do that? But there will be some people who just watch from now and moving forward. So my name is Audrey. I live in the Indianapolis area, but I grew up in the UP of Michigan. I'm used to the cold. I don't like it though. I'm very happy living in Indianapolis. I am married. My husband and I have been married for, let's see, we got married before the pandemic, thank goodness. We got married in the summer of 2019, so it's going on 5 years. And we have 2 kids. And I have mentioned them on previous videos because they have each delved into cross stitch here and there, which is fun. Fun to see what they like, what they pick up. And, you know, they have other interests as well. And they're young, so, you know, things come and go. I began stitching when I was about 9 years old, and I had started on Mill Hill kits, perforated paper with DMC floss and Mill Hill beads. I loved those. I still love them, and I actually don't have anything right here to show you, but I have finished so many Mill Hill ornaments and refrigerator magnets, other things like that, and I love them. I made so many of them. And I kind of went in, do I want to say waves, where I would get really into cross stitching and I would just do Mill Hill Santa after Mill Hill Santa. And then I would kind of put it to the side for months, years, I feel like Eeyore, who knows? And then I would pick it back up again. And it wasn't until the end of 2022, it would have been, that I started a piece on linen. That's when I first started on linen, and it was for one of the baby samplers that I mentioned. And it was a 32 count. I think it was raw, natural Belfast, something like that. Something that I got from 123 Stitch, you know, whatever was recommended by the Just Nan chart. And I got all the DMC floss, and I stitched up, and I was like, oh my goodness, I love this. And then I bought some other 32 count, and then I started another, you know, a couple other projects and something I did on 40, and I really loved that. And as I consumed more Flosstube, I learned about other things. And so I think my journey from kits to, I'll say, 56 count linen with spooled silk, you know, that journey that I've made, I know a lot of other people have made it, maybe over a longer period of time though, because it's only been about 1.5 years for me that I've gone from Mill Hill kits to all sorts of high count linen and getting into silks and all these sorts of things. It's been really exciting going down this stitchy rabbit hole. It's been a lot of fun. And I hope that you guys, for those who have been following along, have been fun. I have had a couple comments from people who have watched more recent videos and then gone back and watched older videos, or the people who have just watched the older videos where I say, I only have 2 projects going, and they're like, I wonder how many you have now. It's more than 2, but it's fewer than a dozen. I still don't like to have too many projects going. Part of the reason I only have a handful of projects anyway is that I get really into something and I stitch on it for days at a time, and I see all that progress, that chunk of progress that I've made, and I want to get, you know, I'm like, oh, I'm not that far from the halfway mark. I'm not that far from the 3/4 mark. And then I want to get, you know, even more into it and until I finish it. So I'm checking my notes here. I reintroduced myself, which is good. I don't always share a lot of personal information, so if there's something lacking here, if you want to know more about me, you're welcome to ask. But I usually just, sometimes I'll quote movies, and sometimes I'll tell funny anecdotes from my own life, but usually I just share about stitching. Let's see. Okay, so moving forward with my channel, some other things that I've been thinking about is the introduction that I gave you here today. That's probably the best introduction I've ever given. Giving you the date and my name and the number of the episode and all that jazz. I don't always remember to do that. Sometimes I'll give you the date, sometimes I'll give you the episode. I used to at the beginning spell my name every time because I have a goofy last name. but I hadn't been consistently doing that. And I do think I should do that because I really like when I watch Caroline, whether it's her and Carrie or just her on Off the Grid Needle Arts. She also has Evertote notes from the workshop. She always says, "Hi Flosstube, hello crafty friends," and I just love that. I think it's the cutest thing, and I would like to have an intro like that. And then whenever Sarah from Sew Me Sarah finishes a video, she says, "Be well." She says, "Be well and stitch happy." Sorry, I don't know what happened to my voice there. And I love that too. So I think maybe those are some things that I could do. I could be better about my introductions and my outros, things like that. You will notice that I have a very glamorous background here today. I am in what we call my floss palace. Ryan is very proud. Ryan is my husband. Ryan is very proud of this. He coined this term, floss palace. I was in here one day and I always keep the door shut because he has a cat, and I told him, I said, we have to have one room in the house that is cat free, cat hair free. So I said, she's not allowed in here, the cat. And so one day he like cracks the door open and he like pushes, you know, he's got just this amount of face through, and he's like, "May I enter the floss palace?" It's like, yes, you may enter the floss palace. And it's stuck, so now we call it the floss palace, and I feel like I should make a sign for my door. So my floss palace, it's bare. There are no stitchy things on the walls. As I say, I've only been stitching on linen and finishing samplers and things like that for about 1.5 years. So I don't have anything up. I had framed I have 3 things framed that, well, and one of those were given as a gift. One is in this cabinet over here, just standing up, and then one is in the closet because I don't know where to put it. So it's framed, but it's not up. But eventually, I mean, the dream would be to have a background like Kim Goldman's. Oh my gosh, beautiful, just work everywhere, just birds and flowers everywhere. I love it. Or to have a background like Brenda, where you can see in her home that over the years she has added this and this and this, and it has just all gone up organically. Like, how amazing is that background? It's funny though, because whenever I have Brenda and Laura up, every once in a while Ryan will see this on the TV and he'll be like, "That's my future, isn't it?" I was like, yeah, that is. Just like samplers everywhere throughout the house. I love it. So it would be nice to have that idyllic background, but we don't have that yet. We don't have that. I'm lucky if I have good lighting. And that's another thing I've been thinking about. I really like natural lighting. I like how I feel on camera. This is me. This is my coloring right now. And when I show you stitching, this natural lighting is going to be great. But for those of you who have watched previous videos, you'll know that this is not usually the orientation that I use. I'm usually over there, but it's darker over there. So I wonder if I should invest in a larger ring light, something that gives a natural looking light. I don't like that like really artificial yellow light that you sometimes get. I want to avoid that, but this is a question I have to ask myself. Am I going to invest in this? Well, it's a hobby. We invest in other hobbies monetarily, so can't I buy a light? I don't know. Keep asking myself that. Let's see. Oh, I had also been thinking about editing. Should I put more time into editing or graphics, things like that? I know Carol Saltbuck Stitcher does a lot of that, or maybe it's her husband that does that, but I do like that they give a lot of information on screen. She'll hold up a chart, and you know, you can't necessarily always read what it says, and maybe she forgets to say what it is, but then the information will appear on screen. I do like that. Again, if you have any input on any of this, I'm happy to have it. If you just like that I recorded and slapped it up on YouTube and that's good enough for you, I'll take it. The last thing I think would be my schedule. Now, it's only been 2 weeks since I've recorded, so I don't have a ton of progress to show you. I like having longer time in between recording so that I do have more to show you, and maybe a purchase or two, because I like seeing more progress on videos. But I also want content all the time. Like, give me weekly videos. You're not getting weekly videos from me. It's not gonna happen. But from Nicola Parkman, thank goodness, we get almost weekly videos. So I think come season 2 of Stitch Stitch Bead Flosstube, I am considering moving to a monthly schedule where I will record a video maybe on the 1st of every month or the 15th of every month or whatever it works out to be, just once a month. I think that would work best for me. I can spend more time editing. I can maybe make a longer video so that my whole day is shot, right? Recording, editing, uploading, posting, whatever. But it's just one day a month instead of 2-ish. I think that would work better for me. So if you have any questions, comments, please let me know about any of this. And I'm sorry I took up 15 minutes of this video jabbering on about it. And I also want to say en français aussi, si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas à laisser les commentaires ici ou vous pouvez me chercher sur Instagram at StitchStitchBead. Merci beaucoup. Okay. I think that's it for all that stuff. I did have some questions that were asked on previous videos or on Instagram, so I can get to those. I had someone ask if I use a magnifier. I do stitch on high count linen, 46, 56 count linen. I don't use a magnifier. I have noticed that better lighting is better when I'm stitching on that higher count linen, but I don't use a magnifier. I know I will one day. It's going to happen because already sometimes I find myself, where is the hole? But for now, I do not use a magnifier. And I don't use readers or anything like that. I just wear my normal glasses. I do make sure though that I am in a well-lit area or I have a lot of lamps or something around me so that I have plenty of light. On a previous video, I think it was just my last one, I showed my new stand from Pataki, and I neglected to tell you guys that this is the mini. This is the mini. They have a couple different sizes. They also have a floor stand, which is really nice, but it's about $1,000. So we're not getting that anytime soon. This is the mini. There is, I believe they call it a classic, which is about $150 more than this one. And it's because it has a lever instead of this knob here. And I don't know why such a jump in price. This one was it was a little over $200 with the shipping. I ordered directly from Pataki, and I will leave the link in the description box, but if you search Potoky, you will be able to find them. And if you search Pataki stand, their website should pop right up. Hobbyhouseneedleworks.com occasionally has these in stock. When I checked yesterday, because I was talking to someone about this, when I checked yesterday, they had the classic, whatever they call the model that has a lever instead of the knob. They had that in stock in one color on their website, and I think it was going for $339. So if you really want it, head to Hobby House and grab that. This one I ordered directly from the company, and it took 5 months and 1 day from the date that I ordered it. So if you want one, get on it, because you're going to be waiting a while. Unless you happen to find it in stock from Hobby House. Oh, and someone asked if you can use this stand in your lap. Yes, you can use it in your lap. I have actually only used it on my desk here, but I have heard other people talk about just like, you know, they're in their stitchy chair and they just sit it right there on their lap and stitch away with it. It holds both a hoop or a Q-snap, so whatever you use, it will work for you. All right, 19 minutes in, and I haven't shown you anything stitchy. I am so sorry, but I thank you for those who stuck with me, and now we can get to the stitchy stuff. That's good. I know that a lot of people have a book of days, and oftentimes they'll show you. I don't have a book of days. I have a very nice but rather boring golden coil that I purchased. And what I end up doing is I'll write, I'll write like in the, you see, Hannah, see, that means I worked on Hannah Campbell, and I recorded Flosstube number 15, stuff like that. So I'll write that in here. And I also have a husband who travels a lot, so this helps me keep track of where he's going, when he's going, if I have to go with him. Yeah. Okay, so let's get into my whips. Now, I'm gonna show you most everything that I've got going right now. There are a couple that I left out. This one I haven't made any progress on since my last video, but I'll show it just to promote the stitch along that I'm doing. This is Marie Louise Piret, 1911. This is Hands Across the Sea. This is going to be a rather large sampler, but I do love it. She's only 5 colors. So if you're thinking about trying silks or you want to join us on our stitch along, the hashtag is Marie Louise Piret SAL. So you can post that on Instagram. I am stitching this with Laura Duet, who is at Maud and Mozart on Instagram, and her friend Brenda, my friend Brenda, said that she's going to join us. She got so excited about this. If she got the chart, she's going to join us. And Trisha, are you joining us? I know you mentioned this a while ago, so I wonder if you've gotten to it. But a couple other people have said that they're joining us with this stitch along. So how we broke it down was we decided that, so Laura ultimately, it was December, and she's like, I want to do a year-long stitch along with you. Pick one of these things. So she sent me about a dozen photos of charts that she had, and I ultimately picked this one. I knew that I had the chart and it was kitted up and everything, and there are 12 rows. So I said, Laura, well, we can do a row a month, and then we can do a section of border. And it's worked out. So I have completed January. This is January's row. This is February's row. And then I did 2/3 of one side of border, which is what I needed to do. So I am excited to get to this because March, which I need to finish before the end of March incorporates a new color, this yellow color, and a little bit of blue for that key. So I need to get to that. And I am stitching this on 46 count gold sand from XJU, and it's so soft. This fabric is wonderful. And I think it's showing up really well here. See, this is good lighting. I am reticent to replace natural light with artificial, but I don't always get so lucky with the weather. Only 5 colors. And if you want to, oh, that's who it was. Vashti. I was thinking olive green. I was like, what's her actual name? Sorry, Vashti. Vashti is joining us for our stitch along, and she changed her colors. So if you search on Instagram, you could go to the hashtag and find the photos that way, or you should be able to find olive green on Instagram. And she changed these colors in such an interesting way. She's doing pinks, like rosy colors. It looks really neat. So, you know, if you have the chart, but you're not crazy about the colors, pick whatever colors you want. Pick any 5 colors or more colors or fewer colors, whatever you want to do. But I do really like that. And I have found that, you know, it's only been a couple months, right? I've only done January and February, but I found that I feel really good about working on these larger samplers and just knowing that I only have to do a little bit this month. But I still know that at the end of the year, it's going to be done. I'm going to have this big, beautiful sampler done in December. Okay, another one. Oof, speaking of long-term projects, Hannah Campbell. This is the first hats project that I purchased, and I'm showing this mostly for my new viewers here. I haven't made any progress since my last video, but it's so pretty. I'm going to show you anyway. Here she is. Rose Heck is leading a stitch along with Janice at Traditional Stitches. And I think this is about where they are. I think Rose has actually finished all these eyelets. But when I stumbled across hers, seeing where they were in their stitch along, I was like, oh, I can kind of keep up with them. And that'll help me get it done. And I do feel good. Making some progress on it. If you have not begun Hannah Campbell and you're considering stitching her on a higher count linen like I am, I'm using a 45 count Legacy tie iced tea. Get the Soie Surfine for the over 1. These birds over 1. Pain in the patella. Animals, over 1, over 1, over 1. This is all over 1, but that's no big deal. I find over 1 letters are really not that big of a deal. All these birds in the tree, over 1. He's fine. Over 1. It's really just these 2 birds. They're jerks. They were so hard to stitch using the 103s, and that's what I used. It was just a little too thick. The door rattled. I don't know what that was about. Another hats I have to show you. And I have made progress on this, so I can show you this. This is Campbell Party. This is a nice red sampler. It's big though. It is big. This came out last year. I pretty much bought it immediately. I love it so much. I'm stitching this on 56 count Old Mushroom by XJew. And you can see I was working on it earlier today. I got this done today. That was good. So I'm still behind. This is a project I started with the intention of putting in an hour a day on it. And I was really good at that for like a month or so. And then it kind of got set to the side because I got really excited about this other project that ultimately only took a week. And then I went back to it, but then I would set it aside. So what I have learned through these various projects that I have going is that I think what works for me for larger projects like Campbell or Marie Louise or others is that I'd like to have, you know, maybe not dedicate all of my time to one large project until it's done, but say to myself, let's break it up into 6 chunks or 12 chunks or something and do a section a month. I think that would work really well for me. The hour a day I thought was a really good idea, and I'm still trying to stick to it, but sometimes I sit down to it and I've done an hour and I was like, well, I really could keep going on this. And then other days I'm really into whatever else, some other project that I'm working on, and I don't pick up Campbell. But I am keeping track of how many hours I have already put into her and how many I should have put into her by this time. I started her on Christmas Eve. And I'm not that many hours behind, but. So as I say, this is a 56 count, and I'm actually using the Flosstube on this. And I would like the coverage better if I use the 103. But it was a good experiment. However, this is my spool. This is my spool. I had to order another spool of, it's 2664, which is my favorite red 664 in the 103s. I had to order another spool, and Hobby House was the only place I could find it just online. I'm sure if I called the attic or called some other place that they would have it in stock and could send it out, but I just wanted to just do it online. Who has a shopping cart? Hobby House does, and they carried Flosstube. So I ordered that and a couple other spools and a chart I didn't need. And I thought, oh, well, it's gonna be a while until they send it, so I'm gonna get through this spool. And I'm gonna have to be sitting a while until it shows up. But it already shipped. I couldn't believe it. It shipped the next day because I've ordered from Hobby House, I don't know, like 4 or 5 times now. And it always seems like it takes a long time for them to ship the thing out. But then once it's in the mail, I get it in 2 days. So thank goodness. Maybe they were just already getting through all the market orders and everything and did other orders as well. But whatever it was, I was excited to see that it was already shipped. My Flosstube is on its way. I should get it Monday. This is very pretty. I love this one. Now I talked about this a while ago, but in stitching reproduction samplers, I really prefer not to make any changes. I'll make mistakes that I'll notice later, or I may make mistakes that I notice as I go. And do I want to fix it? Is it worth fixing? Is it not? But one thing I had been thinking about is how do I want to put my own signature on it? Like whether it's my name or my initials or whatever it may be. This one, I'm thinking, but I'm still not sure how I would do it or if I indeed want to do it. But right here it says, fait par Campbell à ce party, le 6 juillet 1900. So it says made by Carmel Azzopardi and the date that she finished it. I have so far I have the P right there. And I stitched that, and then I was moving on to other things. And I had a thought. I thought I could stitch Fay par Audrey Marine après Carmel Azzopardi. But then if I did that, I wouldn't really have room for the date. I'd have to add another line here, which means adding to this key border. So this remains as it is, and I've been working on other things. I still have this to finish. Thoughts? I don't know. On a sampler I had finished previously that has over a dozen colors, I stitched a little symbol that I had come up with. I had found it on an antique sampler. It was a little lion. So I stitched that, and then I stitched my initials and a 2-3 for 23. And I stitched it in a color that pretty closely matched the linen, and I like how it looks. I like how that turned out. Do I have it nearby? Oh, I do. But thinking about how I would do that on a red sampler, I think, well, if you stitch it in red, it'll really stick out. And if you stitch it in a color that matches the linen, it'll also really stick out, because if everything else is just monochromatic, everything else is red or everything else is black or whatever it may be, then that one little symbol will really stick out. I don't know if I want to do that. This is Harriet Hay by Mill on the Floss, Tabby Cat. It's now all just Tabby Cat. But if you'll see down here on the bottom, this is a lion. Oh, and it's actually just an A. I had forgotten. It's an A, but it's that old style A. And then it says 2-3. It's a little lion. So I thought, well, I really need to stitch that on all the samplers that I've finished. But I'm not convinced. I'm putting way too much thought into this, I'm sure. And then, you know, before I even started any of this stuff, I thought, oh, well, I'll just stitch my name and the date well below the sampler and it'll be hidden by the frame. But now also, I don't know if I want to do that. Do I want it to be visible? Do I not want it to be visible? I like this little symbol that I came up with and put on Harriet Hay. And Harriet is spelled Harriothey, if you guys want to look up the sampler. It was fun. And I got the 103s from the attic. So if you like 103s and you want the attic's conversion, you can call them. This is on 46 count H&H from number 12 Stitch Co. I had a lot of fun doing this. This was my birthday start. Yeah, so I'm still thinking, I need to send things off to the framer. And the framer that I'm using, she's like, well, you know, we're going up north for the summer, but anything we get by the end of March, we'll finish before we go. So I'm like, what am I going to send before the end of March? I need to send this, because Harriet really deserves to be on the wall somewhere. But then I've got these other red samplers that I finished. I finished quite a few of them, 4 or 5 already now. And I think, well, I need to put my signature on it or something before I send them. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have thoughts. And I'm sure there are plenty of people who are like, no, don't change it at all, right? And I was firmly in that camp, but when I'm dead and gone, I feel like my name should be on it. Or am I just overthinking things? Okay, probably the most exciting thing I have to show you guys. This is Ann Ogston, 1868. This was given to me and the other attendees of Sampler Symposium in January of this year at the attic. This is the Hands Across the Sea. Nicola said that it will be released next year, so never fear, it will come out. I started this on Burns Night, which is January 25th, I believe. I started this as part of the hashtag Mighty We Nation SAL that Amanda Alba Stitcher started. This is a Scottish sampler, and her idea was that you stitch a Scottish chart or something by a Scottish designer, something like that. So I picked this one. I was gonna stitch something else, but I didn't have the materials for it when Burns Night came around, so I started this. And the important thing to note here is that Ann finished her sampler on March 18th of 1868, but March 18th. So today is the 16th, and I wanted to finish it on the 18th. And I will, because, look at it, it's almost done. It is almost done. This is a lot of fun. Very, very bright colors. And this house is so adorable. I love this house. It has satin stitches here on the front. And it doesn't say in the chart to double up the satin stitches, but I ultimately did. And I would go, you know, 5 stitches this way and then 5 satin stitches this way to just make it a little bit fluffier. It wasn't full enough for me when I only did the 5 there. There's a man and his dog. So all I have left is this little bit of border here. And actually I'm done. Oh, I'm not done with that green. Done with the darker green. But I need to use more 274 and 664. And then whatever this obnoxious blue is that Ann picked for her date. Yeah. So this one, because it's so wild and colorful and busy, I think I will easily be able to sneak my little symbol in somewhere. I was thinking here-ish, right? So we've got some weird birds, and look, the sun is coming in a weird way. But I think this is really pretty. So I will have this done on Monday. So take a look at my Instagram at StitchStitchBead, and you should see a finished product on Monday, and I'll have it all nicely ironed. Take a photo of it. So that's what I've been working on. With Ann, though, I was putting hundreds and hundreds of stitches into her every day, because I knew that if I put in a lot of stitches, I could get her done by March 18th, and that was a goal. And when it became clear that I could manage it, then I was, you know, so much more motivated to keep going on it. But there was a week here this month that I got almost no stitching done. I was out of town with my husband, and I was helping him with his work, and it was really busy, and I knew it was going to be busy. So before that week, and now since we've been home, I've been putting a lot of stitches in Ann. But even though she has all these beautiful colors and she's really interesting, it was just one of those nights I was just thinking, I gotta work on something else. I had put in however many hundreds of stitches into Ann, and I thought, I need to do something new. So I came in to my Floss Palace, and I had this set of drawers here in the closet, and I opened up the second drawer, because the first drawer is all hats. And the second drawer I opened, it's all Shakespeare's Peddler. And this was on top, and I was like, that's it. I've been thinking about this one for months. I want to stitch it. I had everything that I needed. So I pulled out M. Satterthwaite 1807. I love this sampler. It is only 2 colors, and it's only because there's some cream right here. That's it. Everything else is black. So actually, if you wanted to do the whole thing in black, do the whole thing in black, or all red, or all blue, or whatever it is that you want to do. But I actually am using Noir Black Overa Soie 103 on the called for fabric. Well, the called for fabric is 40 count brown paper by X2, but I'm using 46 count. And it is a really warm, very warm gray color. This is the fabric. See, it even looks more tan, beige, something here in this lighting. But in person, it's like a brown gray. But I'll show you what I've gotten. So I worked on this just the other night, and then I put in a couple threads into it yesterday. And I was really excited about this one. I found it on clearance. Somebody had trying to get rid of their stock of it. And so I got a good deal on it, but it's been sitting here in my Floss Palace for months. But I've been thinking about it and wanting to get to it, because I actually stitched a Quaker last year. I stitched Spring Quaker by Lila's Studio, or Lila's Studio. I still don't know which one it is. And I gifted that to my mother. That was the thing that one of the 3 things I had framed, and I gifted that one to her. But I loved, there are problems with that chart, but the Quaker medallions, half medallions and whole medallions that are in that chart, and the flosses that I use, the variegated browns, I loved that part of it. I loved that. So I was really excited to get to another Quaker. And even after M. Satterthwaite, I'm thinking about what other Quakers I might want to stitch. But this is all I have so far. This is Noir on brown paper, 46 count brown paper by XJU. And it looks really rich in person. I love how bold it is. Yeah, there we go. I really like that. So just a small section done so far. Starting up here. I usually start in the top left, but I thought it shouldn't take too terribly long if I were to stitch on this monogamously, which I won't. I have other things going. Obviously, I'm going to finish Ann Ogston. I would like to put some time into Hannah Campbell again, but I do love this one. And I thought about, we've got some, this is a reproduction sampler. This is an antique reproduction sampler. Sorry, I've got like major sunshine coming through. This is what I'm talking about. What, give me advice for lighting. I don't know. Or should I get gauzy curtains? Maybe that would help. I don't know. But we've got some initials here. I was thinking about changing those. Do I want to put my own in here? I don't know. Or do I want to be, what's the word? I can't even think of the word. Not respectful, that's not it. Be true to M. Satterthwaite's design. I don't know. But I do really like that. So I think I'm gonna put a little bit into it here and there, a few threads here and there. And then when I've got some of these other things finished up, I can dedicate more time to it. It's really nice. Okay, that, I think, is all the stitching I have to show you. See, it's only been 2 weeks. I really don't have that much to show you. I think I should have more. Okay, but that means that we get to get into purchases. I'm going to show you a few things that I purchased a couple weeks ago. They came like right after my last video. And then we'll get into the charts that I bought from Market. Now, every year, I guess, see, I'm just learning. But Auvera puts out new 103 colors, and they have put out, and Mom, I ordered these because I knew you wouldn't have purchased these, so don't give me any crap about it. My mom said that she bought me a lot of 103s to help my stash, but these are the new colors for this year, as well as this light pink. And why it wasn't included in this set, because I know this is new as well. I don't know. So let's see, we've got 724 is new, 583. This is like an oyster color. It's really pretty. This in person initially looked brown, but it's like a reddish dark chocolate. It's really nice. And that is 568 is that one. This one is 539. And then there's this peach here that's 244. Yeah. And then this other very light grayish pink is 607. There we go. And this is another spool of 274 because I finished one spool of 274 and I knew I was going to need another one. Even though I had plenty on the current spool of 274, I knew I was going to need another one. Another question somebody had, I don't remember if it was on Instagram or on YouTube, but they asked about Ann Ogston's grass color. I don't know the DMC number, but the Auvera SWA 103 color is 656. This is it's like a beautiful Kelly green color. Emerald. It's more like a rich emerald. So that is Ann's grass in front of her house. Okay. Oh, Also, I got a piece of fabric. This is 40 count Piccadilly white. This is legacy linen. I can open this up for you guys, sorry. Ooh, it feels so nice. So I purchased this with a project in mind. One of my market purchases. We'll get to that. Piccadilly white. I believe Katie Strachan is stitching her Britomart sampler on Piccadilly white. This is 40 count legacy linen. You should go watch her most recent video. She shows it again. It's spectacular. I love it. Okay. So that's it as far as stuffs. But now we have charts. I'm going to show you these in no particular order, so don't think the thing on the top or the thing on the bottom is my favorite. Excuse me. This is just how they came packaged. I did order 12 charts. One of them was out of stock already, so it will come whenever it comes. It was the 1897 Schoolhouse sampler, the two small samplers. They're overall kind of pink and have birds. I do not remember the name of that. I'm sorry. Okay, the first one I have is a Teresa Kogut. This is Voice So Sweet. I watched Teresa's videos showing the models of her new releases, and this one I really liked. And even Ryan, I watched it like 3 times, and Ryan happened to catch it one time, and he was like, oh, I like that one. And I was like, oh my God, you do, really? The little bird with the hat, that is too cute. I am going to change what it says. I have something in mind already. There is a song by the Weepies, actually, that Ryan and I both really love. And I'm going to take a couple lines out of that, and I'm going to put it in there. This song is Gotta Have You. It's a really sweet song. I got that. And then, of course, Stacey Nash. Okay, so I went to a stitching group yesterday at Always in Stitches in Noblesville. And of course, Market just happened, and a couple people who were there in the stitching group had gotten to go to Market. And, you know, it's on everybody's mind. What'd you get? What are you gonna get? Oh, I didn't get anything, but I'm gonna get a lot, and all that sorts of things. And it was funny because one woman said this, and one woman said, oh, I like the Stacey Nash stuff. And this one woman, she said, Stacey Nash is trying to bankrupt me. It was so funny. So funny. This is the only Stacey Nash chart that I purchased, though. I was sorely tempted to get the other. Well, the bunny animal cracker was the other one that I wanted. This is Bobbin. Her name is Bobbin. That's so cute. I mean, I saw this and I was like, that is so stinking cute. And you get the pattern for the mouse and this little pin pillow right here. Too cute. I don't know how I'm gonna have to figure out how to finish that myself. Now you'll notice that the two things that I purchased, the two things I've shown you already are on the smaller side. When I was making my decisions, I had a cart full of large samplers, and then I looked at it and I thought, I can't do that. I can't get nothing but large samplers. I'll get some large samplers, and some will get started this year and some won't, and that's just how it's going to be. But I think I should get more smaller items. I don't know what to do about this sunlight now. I'll get more smaller items. So that's what I'm showing you first. I got about half my order was smaller items and half was larger pieces. This is Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas by Shakespeare's Peddler, or Merry Little Christmas by Shakespeare's Peddler. That's super cute. It takes about 10 or 12 colors, and she's saying a 40 count Earl Grey Wabi Sabi linen, or gray by Weeks Dye Works. I don't think I've ever seen that Earl Grey Wabi Sabi linen in person. This might be the thing that I'm most excited about. This is another Shakespeare's Peddler. This is Home Sweet Home. And this is the chart that I'm going to stitch on this 40 count Piccadilly white. I think it'll be perfect. This chart calls for either DMC or overdyed, but I think I'm gonna go through, I don't have most of these overdyed threads, so rather than purchasing over 12, more than 12 overdyed threads, I might just raid my stash and figure it out myself. But I do really like this. I like the little fence. These buttons are sold separately. You can get them on kittenstitcher.com, which is Shakespeare's peddler Teresa's website. It's all the same woman, so you can get those. Buttons are by the B Company, B-E-E. You can find those if you want to add the buttons. This is another Shakespeare's Peddler, Pennsylvania Christmas 2. This is a companion to a chart that she released last year, it must have been, where it was a single pillow, and I think it had reindeer on it. Very cute. I also want that one. I think these will all stitch up very quickly. And I have completed something on red rose linen from number 12 Stitch Co. And I love the linen, and I have plenty left. So I think I'm gonna use, a white or a cream silk from my stash and stitch it on that fabric. And recently you guys may have seen in a previous video that I finished a Token of Love, which is a small freebie chart from Tabby Cat. You can still find the chart on the website as far as I know. I stitched that. It was a multicolor piece, I think 4 or 5 colors I used. And when I saw this one in the things that were available from Market, I thought, oh, well, that looks really similar, but it's different. It's a bit bigger. I really like it. And I can always change what it says here. I did stitch a Token of Love on the other small heart piece that I did. And this one, all of this is done in one color, but I thought, well, I could stitch it all in one color. I could stitch it in a variegated thread. I could stitch it in a bunch of different colors. I don't know. But I thought that was too cute. I thought this would stitch up quickly. And again, let's pick smaller charts that I can complete quickly to make myself feel better about buying giant samplers. There was no escaping this one. Look at the chicken. I love that chicken. The house is really neat too. Oh God, I'm not looking forward to filling on all those windows, and these ladies, look at them, they're funny. And maybe each got a little dog. This one looks like he's up on his hind legs. That's so cute. Yeah. And baskets of flowers, trees, 8-pointed stars, berry border. Good stuff. The house is impressive. It's, what's the word? Can't think of it. It's definitely the focal point of the piece. But I love everything about that one. So that had to come home. This one, another red sampler. I'm really excited about this. It says souvenir, but it also says bon appetit. So it's going in the kitchen. And I think I can, it says floss is recommended, Classic Colorworks Cherry Cobbler. You will need 2 skeins. But I wonder if I might just, I don't know if I want to use 664 again. I love 664. I did indulge, and I bought some of those overdyed Auvera Soie that Nicola was talking about on her last video. So whenever they show up, I ordered a few different reds, and I might use one of those for this. I just love all those little motifs. I think it would be really fun and interesting. You're not stitching the same thing over and over and over again. The problem with, and I'll dig it out again. No, that's not it. No. See Carmel here. I love the sampler. I love these various borders and the alphabets and things. But boy, am I getting bored with this guy. And I'm only to here. And I've got all this left to go. And this decorative border here, this band, I really love it. It kind of looks like maple leaves or ivy leaves. I bet that's what it's supposed to be. Very, very pretty. But after a while, it gets a little tedious. But something like this, it's visually interesting. Your eyes are moving all around it. There's so much to see. But I think it'll be fun to stitch as well. So I need to pick out fabric and thread for that. Oh, this is, I'm sorry, Lone Eagle Sampler by Needlework Press. And then this one, I know I showed it, but I didn't say, is it Carin or Cardin? Antiques and Needlework. This is Ann Newton, 1838. Okay, now we get into Cross Stitch Antiques. I ordered 3 things from Cross Stitch Antiques, but I could have ordered more. I watched Kathleen Littleton's video where she's showing the antiques and the models, if she's made a model, and talking about and showing the booklets and talking about the various samplers. And this one, I don't know that I would think it's particularly exciting just by looking at the photographed model, but when she showed the antique and also her model in the video, I got really excited. So I couldn't not get this one. And this is old, 1764. I think this is one, she had a couple that were like, I cannot believe it's still holding together. It looks like it's just gonna turn to dust any moment here. But this particular tree, I keep seeing in different samplers. I think it's in Florence Mary Dickinson, and I think it's also in Millthorpe, that newer one from Hands Across the Sea. It's a really neat tree. I really like it. And this one is, it's got a lot of purple in it, which I'm not super crazy about, but I don't know, the design, and it's not overly huge. Oh yeah, here's a photograph of the antique. Look at it. She looks awful. I can't believe she's still together. I can't believe Kathleen was able to chart it. And this one, oddly enough, she just has overdyed threads. She does not have a DMC conversion. She doesn't have an NPI or 103 conversion. It's just overdyed cottons. But I think just looking at the photo, you can make your own decision. You know what? I should take this out of the plastic. I don't know why I'm showing it to you in the plastic. I see all that reflection there. There we go. That's better. Yeah. And only 11 colors. So not so bad. I wonder about these other ones. Yes, this one takes quite a few colors. This one only one. That's good. That was another thing. Like if I just get a red sampler, it's so cheap to kit up, right? Okay. Here's another monochromatic one. This is also by Cross Stitch Antiques. This is Anne Hunt Nailsea, 1805. Another Quaker. I'm very excited about this one. But this one is brown. Here she has a recommended 103 is $4.92. Belsois is her crown. NPI 764 or DMC 420. But if you wanted to use any kind of overdyed cotton, you know, your favorite overdyed brown cotton, or stitch it in whatever color you like. I really like this one. That squirrel, look at that squirrel, look at that guy. What a stud. And just simple alphabet, and you can stitch Anne's name or your own. Yeah, so I was excited about that one. Okay, last but not least, I have Emeline or Emiline Hotchkiss. This is a Canadian sampler from 1846, if I remember correctly from what Kathleen was talking about on her video when she showed this. This is in the collection of a friend of hers, but she was given the opportunity to chart it and release it to us. This is a photo of the antique, and I think she had it with her at market and had it on display. I think that would have been really neat to see in person. Now, what's particularly exciting about this is that Kim Goldman and I are going to do a stitch along together. Kim is going to kit hers up. She said she might want to change a couple of the colors or maybe the overall color scheme. I do not know. But she's going to set a start date for us after we both have all of our materials. And she's going to pick a hashtag because I'm not doing that, Kim. And then we'll let you guys know if you want to join in with us. So if you have this or are on the fence, maybe go ahead and get yourselves ready for a stitch along. it only takes 8 colors, if I didn't already say that. The suggested fabric would be Eureka by Fox and Rabbit, but I think any kind of warm tan beige color. It is 261 stitches wide by 187 stitches high. So on a 36, it's going to be about 14.5 by 10.5. She says the antique is 17.5 by 14.5 on something like 32 count linen. Cross stitches used, or stitches used, excuse me, are cross stitch over 2, cross stitch over 1 for the name, place, and year. So this is the only over 1 stitching, is this little bit here. Everything else is over 2. So if you modify this or replace it with your own lettering or design, you could stitch it on Ada as well. But I just thought this was so cute. And it's one of those things where we see completed models. It's like, oh, it looks amazing. And then you see the antique and you're like, holy crap. The antique looks rough. So this one, I saw it and she does look rough, but I was able to see the potential. I was able to kind of look beyond that and think, okay, she's got some really fun, bright colors. I think on a really nice, warm fabric, it will be this bright, beautiful thing. So I am very excited about that. And thank you, Kim, for suggesting that we stitch something together. I am very excited about that. I'm doing okay on the one other stitch along that I have, so I think I can handle another one. Excuse me. I think that's all I have for you guys today, and I'm right at the 1 hour mark here. So I think I'll end it. But I will ask again that you leave comments, questions here, or you can find me on Instagram at StitchStitchBead. I believe that I will not be recording again for about 3 weeks. That would put me into early April. I think it would be Saturday, April 6th would be the next day I record, but it may not actually be until the following weekend. On April 7th, I'm going to visit some friends in Chicago, and I may work in, excuse me, I may be able to work in a visit to Laura or Brenda and Laura. We'll see what we can do. Laura basically invited me over to Brenda's house, and I was like, stop doing that. Stop inviting other people to Brenda's house, because she does this. But I knew that. So hopefully I can get together with at least Laura, but I haven't decided, am I going on Saturday night or Saturday afternoon or whatever. I just need to be in Chicago on Sunday afternoon to visit my friends for their son's birthday party. I'm very excited about this. All this to say that I will see you guys in 3, possibly 4 weeks, or whenever. Who knows? Life happens, right? Things come up. But once we get into the month of May here in Indy, it gets really busy. And so it may be that in May or shortly thereafter, I move to recording just once a month. That's what I'm leaning toward. So if you guys have any input, let me know. I'm here. But thank you again. Thank you again for all your comments, questions, follows, subscriptions, whatever it may be. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I like interacting with you guys. I am glad when you tell me what you're stitching on, what you're working on. I have some people who say that they've spent the afternoon, they've had my videos on, and I'm working on whatever project it may be. And I think that's really, interesting. It's fun to know what other people are, because I know when I'm at home and I've got Kim or Carol or whoever it may be, I'm working on something, but I don't necessarily share that with them. And maybe I should be better about commenting, because I know that some people I get a lot of comments from other people, and I like getting comments. I don't know. This was a lot of talk about comments. Maybe I should edit this out. No, I don't feel like it. No editing today. That's what I've decided. I don't have to insert any pictures. I'm not editing anything. I'm going to chop off this weird section on the front where I didn't introduce myself very well, and that's going to be it. Okay. I'll talk to you guys in a few. Oh, one more thing. I only noticed, right now, it's sitting right here. I put it right here so that I wouldn't forget. One other thing I want to say is thank you very much to Roberta Lyle, because Roberta I met, and this is of Disabled Stitchers, I met Roberta at Sampler Symposium in January, and she gifted me with this book, Threads of Life. She said that she was given a copy, and she's been reading it, and so she wanted to give a copy to another stitcher. It is by Claire Hunter, and it's an odd structure. I will say the book is structured in a very odd way, but it is full of so much interesting information, minutia, that you would never know to go look for. I think as cross stitchers, we know about antique pieces and antique samplers and other antique needlework. And so you might be able to Google, when did girls start stitching samplers? But there are other things in here about needlework from Europe, from Britain, but also needlework traditions from other parts of the world that you don't even know exist, and so you wouldn't know to ask questions about them and the significance and how they come up. So all this to say that the structure of the book is a little weird, and there are a couple goofy typos which really made me go, really? But the information in here is very interesting. So if you're at all interested in needlework in general, this is written by a needleworker and embroiderer, so I think she knows what she's talking about. Cross stitching and samplers are hardly mentioned at all, I will say that. But so thank you very much, Roberta. I have been enjoying it, and I am almost done. Okay, now that really is the last thing. Pretty sure. I'm looking around. Can I be done? Okay, I'll talk to you guys in a few weeks, and until then, happy stitching.